Alright guys, so we all know Germany makes some great watches, some great German brands out there, but some tend to be a little on the pricey side. We can't all afford to spend that kind of money on a watch, or we're just not willing to. So this is where the Chinese homages come in. This particular one is from Feice, it's the FM221. So full disclosure, I was sent this watch for free, don't have to send it back, but you know the score. It's not going to change the way I do my reviews, going to keep it 100% honest all the time, no matter what. But you're probably wondering, what is it an homage of? So something a little bit different, not your usual homage you see all that often. In fact, I've not actually seen another brand homage this particular one. If you have, let me know down in the comments. So I'm going to try now and tell you what it's actually an homage of. If you're a German speaker, apologies, I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation of this, but here we go. So it's the GLASHUTTE Original 60s. Let me know how I did with that. So I think this is probably going to be a good budget alternative if you like the look of that watch, but you can't afford it. Or as I say, you're just not willing to pay that kind of money for a watch. But enough waffling, let's jump right in and see what it's all about. So here it is. I'm not going to show you the packaging because it's the same as this previous Feice that I checked out recently. If you haven't seen the review for that one, I'll leave a link to that up here if you want to check it out. And I'll probably leave it down in the description as well. The only difference with the packaging was that it came with this link removal tool as well. So a nice little bonus. So seeing as we briefly touched on it, let's talk about that bracelet a little bit more. So we've got a mixture of brushed and polished. Those centre links are polished, outer links are brushed, apart from the outside, which is polished as well. So obviously that will gather fingerprints a little bit. But I do like that they've got a mixture, not just all polished. And they are all individual pieces as well. So that's always good. And as you probably gathered from that tool that I showed you before, they are push pins. So no screw links, just push pins, but they work well enough. You probably also noticed then, we've actually got a butterfly clasp. Also, unfortunately, we've got quite a big gap there, so that's not ideal. And butterfly clasps generally just aren't my favourite. You can't really get the perfect size because you don't have any micro adjust. But I guess you could always swap it out for a leather strap. Apart from that though, it's quite a nice bracelet. Before we go any further though, let's talk about the dimensions on this. So we've got a diameter of 40mm, got a thickness of 12.7, lug width of 20, and then the all important lug to lug, as you probably noticed, got female end links, so no extra length on that. So the lug to lug is coming in at a really compact 45mm. So we do like that. Should fit a lot of different wrist sizes. So now let's get a zoom in on that dial, because that's what this watch is all about. And it is a really good looking dial. You can see we've got a nice domed crystal there as well. We'll be checking in a little bit if it's sapphire. So they've done a really good job on this dial. Don't really know what you call that pattern, but I do like it. If you know, let me know down in the comments. And then when it comes to the indices, we've got applied indices for all of them, apart from the 12, 3, 6 and 9, which are just printed. And then we've got the printed branding with the Feice original at the top, nothing above the 6, and then that date window at the 3 o'clock. Would have been nice if they hadn't put that date function in there, I think. Kind of breaks up the dial a little bit. Or possibly if they were going to put it in, colour match it maybe. Because I know a lot of people don't really like date functions on dials like this. I think I'm probably in that camp with this one, because it does stick out quite a bit. But other than that, I think they've done a good job. Nice length on the hands, nice high polish finish to match those indices. And you can probably also see we've actually got a little bit of lume on there as well, which we'll be checking out in a bit. But before we do that, let's talk about the rest of the case. So we've got a fully polished case, unsigned crown. And again, that really nice dome on that crystal does transition nicely into the case. Oh, I forgot to show you as well, the case back. This is a little gripe I've got. It just looks a bit too plain. If you're going to put a display case back on it, I think you're better off either adding a custom rotor or just a little bit detailing on that rotor, just to spruce it up a bit. make it a bit more interesting to look at. And then we've got the usual specs around the outside. So you've got automatic, stainless steel, the model number FM221, and the fact that we've got 30-meter water resistance. So dress watch, that's not really too big a deal. And it is a screwed down case back, not a screw case back. And obviously solid end links. So let's quickly zoom out, and then let's talk about the movement in this. So the movement we've got in this is the Seagull ST2130. So that's a clone of the ETA 2824. And when it comes to the specs of that, you've got 28,800 beat rate, 40 hour power reserve, and it also hacks and hand winds, which I'll quickly show you now. So it's just a push pull crown. Pop it out once, change the date, pop it out again, second hand stopped. So as I said, I'm hacking, and then we can just change the time. Pop it back in, second hand re-engages, hand winding, all works well. No issues at all. So now let's test whether we got sapphire crystal using the trusty diamond selector 2. And no, we haven't, just got mineral crystal there. Just a little bit disappointing. Quickly test the back. And unsurprisingly, we've also got mineral on the back as well. So now let's check out what the lume's like on this. So you can see we've got a little bit of lume there already, but let's charge it up, give her a proper chance. And there we go. So, pleasant surprise when I first checked this out. Wasn't really expecting it to have any lume at all, so anything is a bonus really. Is it the best lume? Obviously not, because it is a dress watch, and obviously there's not a lot of surface area there for them to play with either. But as I say, any kind of lume on this kind of style of watch I just class as a bonus. I don't expect it to last very long, and it doesn't. Lasts for a few minutes at most probably. But again, nice little bonus I guess. Not all that usable, but it is what it is. So all it's left to do now is show you what it's like on wrist, and then we'll wrap this up. So this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist, and as I say, does look really good on wrist I think. That dial is absolutely beautiful. Do you like the distortion you get from that crystal? Yes, I probably would have preferred it to be sapphire, but it's not a deal breaker I don't think. I like the way the light catches these centre polished links on the bracelet as well. Conforms to wrist really nicely with them being individual pieces. Again, butterfly clasp not my favourite, but luckily I've managed to get a good fit. But that could vary depending on your wrist size. Case looks really good as well, that high polish, and again, just plays with the light really nicely. It's just a really good looking piece. They've done a good job I think. Yeah, there's a couple of bits I would change, as I say, the sapphire. Ideally, butterfly clasp not my favourite, but that's kind of standard when you get dress watches. But the only other real gripe I have is that rotor. It just needs a bit more detailing on it, or some kind of custom rotor branding or something. If you're going to put a display case back, you need to make it look a bit better. But I guess you're not really looking at the back of the watch too often, so probably not that big a deal, because it is all about that dial. But let me know, what do you think? Do you think it looks good? Are you interested in picking one up? If you are, links are down in the description as always. But if you're not, perhaps one of these previous other dress watches I've reviewed might interest you. I'll leave links to them up here and probably down in the description as well. But that's it for this one guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.